What's going on, everybody? Time for another Lil Sketchin episode this morning. I kind of went ahead and liked the way I did last week's video where I pre-sketched the pelvic bone, so I decided to go back in and actually do another episode where I just sketch the lines ahead of time because it just saves us some time. We're not using Mr. Peepers today, but we're going to be using this photo reference I found. I believe this is I don't really know, there's a watermark there. I think it's like some type of a stock image somewhere. I found it on Pinterest. Sometimes I like to find some photo reference if I can't make it work with whatever I've got going on here. And plus, this is kind of like an interesting angle that I was actually, this is like the perfect image. Pretty weird angle that I was looking for. So, you know, and I don't have an anatomically correct skull model yet that actually opens. If you guys are aware actually of any like medical grade models, I would actually love to like get my hands on some of those, so maybe I'll start looking into that. But anyways, yeah, so we got this weird, interesting little take on a skull, and got my colors picked out already, so we're just gonna get right into it. Again, I'm going in with these Craftsmart Satin Spicy Boys here. We've got this turquoise color, and I'm also gonna try out some of this Verde Claro satin, and of course my trusty squeezy here, my little squeeze, folk art minted aqua. Yeah, this is actually, I probably need to replace this one soon. So anyways, yeah, let's see if these work. I'll probably throw some white in there to get rid of some of the neon in this light green, but I don't know, we'll try it out, see what happens. Kind of just going in first with this lime green, this neon here. What is that? Is that a cat hair? Yeah, I'm just going in with this neon green first. Like with a little water mixed in for a light wash, and going to kind of block in where I want to use this color, some of my lighter portions of this piece. I'm probably going to try to follow this light source that the photo has. You see it's kind of coming from probably like this, pointed right directly here. So I'm going to try and follow that as closely as I can because I really like it. I think it's pretty interesting. I don't know, but you know, I am doing something, I am taking a little artistic license here with this image. You know, just want to have some fun with my sketch a little bit today, but so I'm just kind of blocking in now these darker, more opaque washes of the lime green. Okay, so as you can see, I've kind of ignored this here and this here and this, but there's some plans for that, so you know that I'm gonna start going in pretty soon with. I'm just gonna block in these. I'm kind of being a little rougher around the edges at some points here. Get a little playful with it, you know. You see, like I did like a weird no-no there. I kind of went like this. I usually keep my paint strokes moving in the same direction just because it can look kind of messy. So that was kind of a weird, you know, I don't know if you've ever like played badminton before, but you know, like when you turn the racket the wrong way. This is why I'm not professional athlete, so yeah, it's kind of interesting. I don't really know what I'm doing here, but you know, I'll probably end up erasing this line eventually. So anyways, I'm gonna let this first layer dry and then come back and start laying in my next color. So yeah. Okay, so what I did now was I actually went back in with some white paint. You know, the Des multi-surface premium satin from Craftsmart. I always actually buy this in a bigger bottle because I use it and it lasts. But I went back in with that instead of an actual eraser because Prismacolor pencils, like the one I'm using, I actually buy these like I buy these singles from Michael's, or AC Moore, or whatever you guys have by you. I went in with the paint as an eraser because I didn't want to damage the paper. Also, I couldn't find my eraser, but I figured, you know, why not add some more texture and interest and character to the sketch by just kind of covering it up with white, almost like whiteout. So, I mean, it's fine. It's not so bad, and it'll probably disappear if I go over this with a background. So I'm not too worried about it. I went back in with the green to like kind of mess with this a little bit more, and I kind of like that better. I'm gonna definitely further define this like area so that it doesn't look like just a piece of poop just sitting there. You know, if you guys have been watching my videos, you kind of know already by now there's a method to my madness. So we're gonna just go start laying in some cool colors with this turquoise. I'm gonna start out by mixing it with the lime green for a transition shade. So yeah, let's go. Down into it so that it's a little easier to visually comprehend that these two parts are connected. Okay, so next I'm gonna like incorporate this little crispy blue. I guess that means it's OP. So we're gonna incorporate a little bit of this into like these areas, just for a teeny bit of like contrast and you know, just to differentiate the two, but hopefully make sure that they visually are like linked. So I'm probably gonna start out by mixing it with my little Frankenstein colors here, and let's just yeah. Right, this is definitely a tougher color to mix with. It's kind of going a little muddy. You know, it's got a lot of gray going on here, and it's like, as you can tell, it's similar value as the other one. Now it's turning black. Wow. It's like a similar, now it's not even in the same family at all, but it's definitely a little just too weird for me. So I think what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna go with this straight turquoise in those areas I pointed out before, and I'm just gonna roll with it. I don't think I'm gonna use this at all. It's a little too crazy for me. And that's okay, because like you can totally change your mind while you're doing this stuff. It's just sketching. But like if you get like that gut feeling like, oh my God, I can't use this color. Look at this. It's a beautiful like gray. But if I was doing something else, but that's a little too dark and it's just a little too insane. That's actually one of the first times I've had issues mixing this paint. And you think because these two are like both blues, they would be okay, but oh well. I don't know. It's like not even that bad in person. Well, okay. It's not even that bad in person, but on camera, it just photographs like almost black. But it's definitely more of a green, but it's a little too dark. And I think I want more of like this color. But this is what this looks like mixed with this, so it's not too bad. So I might actually maybe use this while I have it on my brush on some of these front, like these foreground areas. So let's just try that out. little jittery this morning. I've had like way too much caffeine and not enough sleep, so not a good role model. But you can see it kind of like cools it down. Trying to come at this type, try to make shapes that draw the eye this way. I feel like if it's lit from the front, it's lit. If it's lit from the front, like, I feel like the shadows are just kind of emanating from the back. And that actually looks pretty cool. I kind of really, really like that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bring that to all of these foreground parts of the skull. It blends really nicely on paper with this like teal green. Kind of take that back about it and not liking the color. I stand corrected. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not going to look the way you want, so you just kind of have to make it work for what you're trying to do. I really like that. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I think mixing in more of this really did help. So, yeah. It's still not definitely what I wanted to do, but that's okay. Paint a little squeeb over here. A little squeeb of this. You can see like some nice little three-dimensional things happening. I definitely want to work on transitioning these colors out, make it look more rounded. I think what that needs is a little bit of water to make it stretch. So yeah, like what I'm trying to do now is correct this area. As you can see, that shadow goes all the way up to this highlight here. So I'm going to try and emulate that with the light wash of that color, and I think that's not so bad. Try to do the same over here. Okay. I'm probably gonna end up going in with a really light color there because that's really the lightest parts. And then I'll, you know, define the teeth later with those lighter colors because these bottom rows really do pick up some light. So, all right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this original turquoise down here because I want to, you know, make it look further in the background, but also and differentiate it from the rest, but keep it in the same color family. So that's what I'm going to do now. I don't know if you've ever seen like those illustrators, those usually digital, and they're usually concept artists, but they do this great thing with blue or teal. They do this really awesome thing with blue that I just, you know, you'd think I would think it was played out by now, but, and I've kind of always done this too with my illustrations, is like especially when I was working digitally, just that blue, it's like this blue low light, I guess you could call it, or a backlighting on the edge, on the outermost edge. And I just always thought it just looked so like futuristic and freaking cool. So we're kind of just doing that now with this guy. Almost think of it as like he's got a blue light behind him. So he's being backlit by this wonderful blue. I really like actually the way this is going right now. I'm gonna bring it up here too, I think. I'm gonna do the same up here. I'm really liking this. I might Oops, that's okay. That can be fixed. Get nice and opaque and chunky near the edge. I think that's like part of the secret to those types of illustrations. It's just like, yeah, I like that a lot. All right, so I'm gonna let this dry for a little bit, and then we're gonna go in with the highlight and maybe start thinking about the background. All right, so now I'm about ready to go in with some of the last steps. Here is my highlight. So yeah, we're gonna grab the lightest color and mix it with this turquoise for a nice little transitional thing. This brush is getting a little rough. I'll probably have to replace it soon. That's the one thing about some of these cheaper brands. I mean, they're so cheap, like they don't last as long if you do paint a lot, but they are very inexpensive and affordable, so you could just go and stock up. And you know, it really depends on your style. I mean, my style is very rough, like very, like, I don't want to call it chunky, but like very rough and painterly, I guess. Like, I like brush strokes, I like pencil lines, I like messes, I like, you know, mixing it up. But so it does work for me, and I tend to like you can see how I paint there, like you see how those bristles are just like pushed to hell. But that's like a direct result of how I do this, and I have been trained in numerous ways and a lot of classical ways, so it's not like I don't know the traditional or proper, I don't even want to call it that, but it's not like I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm purposely being rough with my work because that's just how I am. But and I do try to take care of them the best I can. So it's kind of like I do extend the wear, if you will. I mean, this one in particular is maybe like 2 years old, but anyways, like you can see I'm sort of just laying in the teeth there. Kind of, since I'm pretty happy with the lighting on this. Famous last words, but I'm not necessarily referring to my reference anymore. However, I may just one more time in a little bit so that I can be sure that I'm looking the way I want to. You don't even have to use reference. Like, a lot of the times I do sketch from memory, like draw from memory. But when I am doing things like these skeleton type paintings, or like these calaveras or like skulls, I do like to get a little technical with it, at least, so that your brain recognizes it as a skull. Does that make any sense? I'm just kind of like talking about nothing right now, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've always kind of been drawn towards this type of imagery, but I don't always like the dark colors, so I've kind of had to go my own way there a little, which is okay. I mean, I think a lot of artists are like that, you know, like we like colors, we want to work with colors, you know, I mean, but we also like darker imagery. And I think it's, you know, I mean, I don't know how to describe it as like a cultural thing, but I do know in Latin culture that like death imagery is kind of like not necessarily a scary thing. Going in with the brighter colors, it is a little difficult to kind of tackle this through a lens, so I may finish this off camera. Okay, so I got the highlights and some definition more to a place of where I wanted it, but I am kind of curious, like, to see if we can push the darks a little bit more so that it kind of stands out. I may regret this later, so hopefully not, but I'm gonna go in with that pure blue, and I'm a glutton for punishment, so wish me luck. It's just a sketch, it's not gonna kill me. I'm just gonna add some water to stretch this blue out a little bit so that I can make it transition a little bit better. from the darkest version of it. It's weird. The wash itself, it's probably because my water is a little dirty, but the wash itself is a little gray. But I mean, it's okay. It's not so bad. I think I can make it work. He's kind of derpy looking right now. I know it's kind of funny, but going in with some turquoise. See if I can just blend it right on the paper. It seems to be working. So. Notice I'm not going directly to the edge. I'm trying to preserve that little backlit quality in this area here. I may actually try to redo it over here just because I miss it already, but you know, I love that little detail I'm getting here. It looks really cool. So I might just like bring this into some other parts too. See where it's going. Kind of dry brushing back and forth. We've got some super dark areas, so I'm going to try and emulate that over here as well. Deep breath. Just go right in, just do it. Just do it. And I'm like not entirely like upset with like the teeth kind of looking a little like gurgly. I'm not really sure if that's like a thing, but I mean, I'm not entirely trying to get the teeth to look like super defined, if that makes more sense. It's more about like, I just think this is really fun looking. I don't know. It's really nice. I don't know. So I've gone ahead and finessed this spicy boy a little bit more. I'm really happy with it, and I'm trying to figure out what my next step is in terms of background. Yeah, like even farther away, I'm like super excited, and for some reason I feel like he's screaming for like some pink in the background. I think that's what I'm gonna do. To like and subscribe if you like this video. I'm on Instagram. My username is Squeevaween, and I'm also on Facebook, so you can check me out there, or head to my website www.ashleyfontanez.com for some more fun stuff. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day.